The galaxy trembled at the mention of humanity. Their arrival in the cosmic stage had been meteoric, unexpected, relentless, and terrifying. Stories of their colossal warships bristling with weaponry and unmatched in speed spread across star systems like wildfire. Alien civilizations, each with their centuries of tradition and warfare, whispered the same thing. Humanity was a race born for destruction. Their ships didn't just win battles, they annihilated opposition. In every encounter, their strategies were straightforward but brutally effective, overwhelming firepower, precision strikes, and unyielding determination. Entire fleets had vanished into the void, leaving behind only charred wreckage and terrified survivors. It wasn't long before the alien powers convened a secret council. These meetings were held in hushed tones on distant planets, far from prying human sensors. The agenda was clear. How could they counter a species that seemed built for conquest? The fear was palpable. The Zalnari, a reptilian race renowned for their cunning, spoke first. Their general hissed, "We cannot match their ships one-on-one. But brute strength has its limits. Every predator has a weakness." Others nodded, their holograms flickering in agreement. The idea of a direct confrontation was suicidal. The strength of the human fleets had shattered their conventional wisdom. But where there was strength, there was also arrogance. The Jorvan, a species known for their technological mastery, proposed a bold plan, a coalition fleet supported by advanced cloaking devices and sabotage technology. They would bypass the warship's defenses entirely, targeting the very systems that powered their destructive might. The Council embraced the plan, confident that humanity's reliance on their towering warships would be their downfall. "They are brute force personified," an Erythian diplomat sneered, her many eyes glinting with malice. "They know nothing of subtlety." Across the galaxy, preparations began. Fleets were assembled in secret, cloaking devices calibrated, and strategies finalized. The coalition forces had an advantage humanity lacked: unity born of necessity. Their shared hatred of the human menace bound them together in ways diplomacy never could. Unknown to them, the humans were watching. They had intercepted whispers, detected faint energy spikes in supposedly barren sectors, and pieced together fragments of conversations. Yet, humanity's response was surprisingly muted. Instead of fortifying their fleets or issuing threats, they simply carried on as usual, as though they weren't concerned. This indifference fueled the aliens' confidence. Deep within the coalition, whispers of victory grew. They saw humanity as a beast too reliant on muscle, unable to adapt to finesse. The Jorvan scientists laughed at the idea of humans countering their sabotage. "They lack the sophistication," one remarked, shaking his translucent head. And so, the coalition launched their plan, a meticulously coordinated strike against the most powerful human fleet ever assembled. Victory seemed inevitable. Their forces vanished into the void under cloaks of impenetrable darkness, primed to deliver the killing blow. But as the Council celebrated their perceived success, they overlooked one critical truth: humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their warships. It was the minds of the people who built them. Amid the chaos, deep within the bowels of one of the human flagships, the engineers worked relentlessly. They were far removed from the bridge, tucked away in a labyrinth of steel corridors where the hum of machines never stopped. To the outside world, these were the forgotten hands, the people who maintained the warships but rarely shared in the glory of their conquests. Yet now, the fate of the fleet rested entirely on their shoulders. The sabotage had hit harder than anyone anticipated. Systems were failing faster than they could be repaired, and the cloaked enemy ships continued to exploit every weakness. A team of engineers huddled around a bank of screens, analyzing data that poured in like a flood. It wasn't just the nanites. They were dealing with an attack that combined hacking, cloaking, and sheer technological cunning. "This isn't brute force," muttered one of them, a grizzled veteran named Lawson. "This is art. They've designed this sabotage to adapt. Every fix we try, the nanites counter it within minutes." His partner, a younger engineer named Vega, didn't look up from her screen. "Then we stop playing their game. If we try to patch everything, we'll drown. We need to outthink them." Their tools were limited. Human warships weren't designed for this kind of warfare. But where technology failed, human ingenuity thrived. The engineers began reprogramming the drones scattered across the fleet, repurposing them from maintenance tasks to specialized countermeasures. Each drone was assigned a new function, intercepting cloaked ships, disrupting enemy signals, and, most importantly, tracking the nanites back to their origin. The work was frantic. Sparks flew as makeshift modifications were welded onto the drones, and coding commands were typed faster than hands should be able to move. Despite the urgency, there was no panic, only determination. These people had spent their lives solving problems no one else could, and this was just another puzzle to crack. "Got it," Vega exclaimed, pulling up a map on the central display. "The nanites are feeding data back to a central hub. If we hit it, we cripple their entire operation." Lawson frowned. "And how do we get to it?" "Their cloaks are still active." Vega grinned. "We don't need to. We make them come to us." Using the drones, the engineers activated a decoy protocol, broadcasting false signals to draw the cloaked ships into a trap. At the same time, they flooded the system with electromagnetic pulses, destabilizing the nanites and buying themselves precious time. The coalition forces, still confident in their superiority, fell for the bait. One by one, cloaked ships revealed themselves as they moved in to investigate the decoys. That was all the engineers needed. The drones, now equipped with improvised countermeasures, swarmed the revealed ships, shutting down their systems and exposing their vulnerabilities. The coalition sabotage network began to collapse from within. Its reliance on coordination turned against it. For the first time in the battle, the tide shifted. The engineers had taken an impossible situation and turned it into an opportunity. While the coalition had underestimated them, they had shown the true strength of humanity, the ability to adapt, to innovate, and to find solutions where none seemed possible.